Many people wonder what they would do in a tough situation. They plan and prepare, they seek advice from others. But for Josh Lovelady, there was no time to plan.
You know, a lot of people ask me, why didn't you move? And I was just like, I didn't see it. I kind of bent over and blood was all in my back and gloves, and I knew it was bad then.
Josh grew up in the town of Prattville, Alabama, where his first love quickly became baseball.
I remember there was many days when I was growing up, I'd be out in the yard with my dad throwing, and the way he taught me to throw was he would make me hit him in his chest. I just remember that. And I remember if it wasn't in his chest, he would just let it go and I'd have to run and get it. And I did that for a while until I could finally hit him in the chest and he'd catch it and throw it back. But every time that I didn't hit him in the chest, he would just say, go get it. You're gonna learn to hit me in the chest.
After graduating from high school, Josh was excited to continue his baseball career in junior college and close to home.
I was going to Shelton State, supposed to be one of the premier junior colleges in Alabama, and I was looking forward to that, really excited. I just learned a lot, being there, a lot of toughness, a lot of mental toughness to be exact, and they taught me so much more about the game that I'd never known. It was just like everything started clicking because they would tell me stuff that I would just be like, oh, okay, I need to do that. And so, I feel like those 2 years were probably two of the best years of my life.
Josh was the starting catcher, an academic All-American, and had become the first team captain in the history of the program. But on March 8th, one pitch changed his life in less than a second.
We were at Wallace Hansville. That was like our rival in conference play, and I just remember the biggest thing about that at bat is I got all the way down to 3-2, and it was a full count. I was trying to hang in there. And the pitch before that, I hit one down the line that was barely foul. And I just remember the next pitch, the guy threw me. He was throwing upper 80s, maybe low 90s, and I was just trying to stay in there. And I've seen the ball my whole life. I mean, this is what I've done my whole life, is seeing a baseball come out of the pitcher's hands. And I was like, it was just a different scenario. I just didn't see it. And before I knew it, I was hitting the mouth.
In the 4400ths of a second it takes for a ball to travel to the plate, all of his preparation and the years of seeing the baseball simply vanished. In the sixth inning, a 90-mile-per-hour pitch that was high and inside hit Josh directly in the jaw.
It was almost like a feeling of shock. There wasn't much pain when it first happened. I know my adrenaline was rushing a lot. I remember dropping my bat, and I didn't fall to my knees at first. And I remember the catcher, I looked back at him and I didn't know what to think, and then I fell to my knees, and I kind of bent over and blood was all in my back and gloves, and I knew it was bad then. 3 or 4 of my teeth were completely back in my mouth, and the front of my lip went back with them, and 2 teeth were through my lip, and I just remember him pulling my lip out of my teeth. It was probably the worst pain I've ever had. That was kind of really when it hit me, like this is pretty bad. I went back to Tuscaloosa, and they sent me to the oral surgeon, and I did an x-ray, and it was actually a fracture from the lower part of my chin up to the bottom of my where my teeth were. It kind of went from here all the way up, kind of right there, and all the way up to my jaw, and I just remember him saying, you're gonna have surgery tomorrow morning. He pretty much gave me probably 3.5 to 4 weeks was kind of the stepping stone. We're putting these big wires in your mouth. It was pretty much like a thicker, sturdier form of braces.
For nearly 6 weeks, Josh endured physical pain. Stepping away from the game he loved was hard enough, but having his jaw wired shut forced him to rediscover what it meant to be tough.
I guess the worst part about it was you couldn't eat solid food. If you ate solid food, it would kind of break the wires apart, and my jaw would the fracture would kind of split back open. I had a lot of mashed potatoes, a lot of ice cream, shakes. My mom would make soup, and then she would like ground it up in a blender, and I'd freeze it, and they'd send it to me. When I would try to chew, it would hurt really bad, so I just had to just take it and say I'm not gonna eat solid food for 6 weeks.
Unexpectedly, Josh received some good news over a week after the surgery. To the surprise of the doctor, his jaw had somehow healed enough for him to start playing baseball again.
My dad's like in there, like, I don't know about this, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna play. For me, I was really excited to be back out there playing. They had some protective stuff on me. I had a one-piece hockey mask that I wore behind the plate, and I had a guard on the side of my mouth when I hit. I remember the first time I stepped back in the batter's box, it was different. You just didn't know what to expect. You think you're fine, but in the end, it's still rolling around in your thoughts for a while, you know, thinking about that pitch, is it gonna happen again?
Despite being back in the game, Josh wasn't feeling or playing the same way he had before his injury.
Up to that point, it was rough for me. You know, I don't know, I just didn't see the ball as well as I usually did. I think it had to do with the mental side of the game, as far as I was worried, you know, what's gonna happen. But finally, I remember that week, it finally kind of clicked again. Something in my head just kind of said, just be brave and go up there and do what you do. To be a catcher, you're out there and you're letting guys come from the mound throwing 90 miles per hour, and they're throwing as hard as they can at you. But the biggest thing was hitting. So in practice from BP, I'll just do everything normal, take the same normal amount of cuts that everybody else did, and I feel like that's what helped me the most. These was kind of getting past the feeling sorry for yourself. All that was over. It's just about being tough within yourself, and that's the only way you get past that.
After successfully making it through the toughest experience of his life, Josh has a new challenge ahead of him that will demand that same mental strength, stepping up to play Division I baseball in the SEC.
The game's a little faster. I just try to stay under control and slow everything down. And the biggest thing is just not necessarily trying to fit in, just letting it happen. And I feel like that happened for me. I know Gavin took me in, Cody took me in, and they just showed me the ropes and helped me out tremendously.
He just really wants to keep getting better every single day, and he fights for the opportunity every single day. We just keep getting better because of each other's play, and he's an astounding catcher, and he works his butt off for this team and for this family.
Josh Lovelady is certainly someone who brings a lot of toughness. He is a guy who loves the catching position. He loves the strategy involved. He loves communicating with our coaching staff, and he is very good at what he does.
After all he has experienced, Josh knows that if he can get through an injury, he can get through anything.
There were some really rough times when I went through that. I would get really aggravated, and I knew that wasn't me. So, you know, anytime I'm playing now, I just think about, you know, how tough it was back then and how I could get through it.
For Hail State Productions, I'm Aaron Van Auken.